first thing first, we didn't know until now what face as fins. So why did you accept this invitation and decided to let see your face?
That's right. This is the first time I ever show myself in real life. It's been 5 years since I created content on the platform VRChat, and I feel like it's about time that I show myself in the world and push myself and my content a step further.
So you are a star in VRChat, and your words are the more advanced. I've seen Complex 7, and maybe you want to tell something about Complex 7 that is the most advanced word I've seen so far.
Oh, thank you. I wouldn't say a star. I guess I'm more known in the community, I suppose. But yes, the world is not advanced in the logic sense, but it's more advanced as in the fidelity and the visual quality, right? Which is something that I try to push out. Everyone in VRChat has a different strength, and maybe it be gameplay, maybe it be puzzle, maybe it be horror, and mine is visual fidelity. I spend extra time to craft the world in a way that it looks amazing. At least I think that it looks amazing, or other people think it looks amazing. And I try the best to get people immersed in the world and make it as believable as possible. And that's the strength that I try to go for.
You are a pioneer. There's nothing before this. You are creating this kind of stuff while you're doing it. So what's your background?
I am a freelance concept artist and illustrator. Before my current passion, I make concept art, character illustration for video games and movies alike, and I was freelance for about 4 to 5 years.
What do you think is the future of this craftsmanship and this technology, and the possibility of living all together in the virtual worlds?
I think a lot of people think VR and VR world as like an escapism to another place and hiding away from the real world. And while this is the escapism, it's not like, I think it's the addition to our reality. And the more the technology advances, I feel like VR can enable and help like in education, in technology, in connecting people from all over the world, and letting people experience the thing that not possible before. Letting people become the character, be in the story, be in the world, and be immersed. And there's so many possibilities, and I can't wait for the future.
There is still a problem. For instance, I suffer for motion sickness. I know that maybe it's my problem since I'm not used to VRChat. So anytime I enter in a word, I suffer for this. So I got to stay out for 2, 3, 5 minutes and then get in again. So like me, some other people would like to stay, for instance, 1 or 2 hours. But what is your suggestion to overcome this problem? Even, the technical way to move the triggers, it's too fast anyway. So you need to calibrate very well your...
So yeah, this is a huge problem, and a lot of companies are still trying to tackle this issue, right? Because you want the experience to be most accessible to everyone as possible. But if people getting sick, then well, they couldn't, experience what they want to experience. So my suggestion is that take it slowly. It's depends on each game, right? VRChat we have multiple locomotion system where you can either smooth motion where you move your character and camera at the same time, or it's one we have called holoport where you kind of like teleport, like you kind of like move the joystick and then you see a projection of where you will end up and then you let go. Holoport, yes. So then your character teleport there, and so it's a snap, like you teleport here. It's a lot less disoriented and it's a lot less like motion sick for people, and usually we recommend that for beginners. But yeah, as the technology improves, like I hope this will get better. One of my personal favorite is use a fan. If you put a fan in front of your face while you're in VR, it helps kind of like telling yourself that you're actually moving and telling your body you're actually moving. So it helped a lot. It helped me personally, but maybe it can help you.
Because you suffer for motion sickness, even you?
Yes, absolutely. Growing up, I was afraid of car ride. I wouldn't like throw up whenever I have like a 20-minute taxi ride. And when I got VR, I could not like use it at all. It took me a long time to get used to they call it the VR legs. So VR leg is something like after a while, your body is used to the movement, the smooth motion movement in VR where you no longer get sickness. It took like a week or 2 weeks for me, but like eventually everyone can get their VR legs.
How did you get to this level of complexity of visual? It looks really impressive because even last year I entered into different worlds and they were really gamish, but this one is quite close to the real one. So I imagine that in 1 or 2 years we're going to get a totally real virtual reality world.
Thank you. So just like anything, when it comes to fidelity, real life is the best reference, always the best reference. So I always go by real life example. Our brain, we try to perceive details in a way that sometimes we just don't remember. The thing that sometimes people don't think about, like a little piece of trash, the little leaf kind of like moving, some clothesline like dangling a little bit, just subtle movement like that. Things that sometimes people forget or take granted for in the video game scene. I feel like those are necessary to achieve the complexity or the sense of fidelity that we sometimes take for granted. So I really put the time into just put little piece of details here and there, just manually one by one. And
manually, what do you mean? Which kind of programs you use to make this?
So this is using the game engine Unity, which is one of the popular engine for creating games. It basically is just like any other games. And so manually, as in like you have like a model of like a chair or trash or thing, you manually place it down just as you are in real life. That's what I mean. And sometimes in studio, they try to speed up this process by automatically tell the computer to generate or place down thing automatically. And sometimes it increases the workflow, it increases the production time, but then you lose the sense of like imperfection, right? In reality, there's no perfection. There's always things misaligned, things like a little shifted, a little screwed. And I want to apply the same rule in the virtual world. Like nothing is perfect, and our brain can pick that up very well. And sometimes we forget.
There's a young generation, a whole young generation that start living only on VRChat or virtual world. So what do you think about that? About social state of the thing?
Right. Yeah, this is quite a topic that we sometimes discuss about when it comes to VR escapisms and whatnot. Like, yeah, a lot of people who would spend basically their entire day in VR, and sometimes that can be quite unhealthy. But sometimes people find that as like a place of comfort where maybe they are disabled, maybe their family circumstance, maybe they don't have the accessibility to go and do this thing or experience in real life, and they find that comfort in the VR world where they can make friends from another country, continent, time zone, whatever that they want to be. Then they can express themselves in certain avatars, certain look that they want to be. It's the ultimate place of comfort, and I can see why sometimes it can reach like an unhealthy level, but I think for most people, it's the addition to their daily life instead of replacement.
For now, almost everything is quite for free. So how many is going to take to make it a real market?
I'm not sure how to answer this. I guess because I'm not really good when it comes to like business or money involved. But yeah, right now most of the VRChat is for free. They are pushing for a thing called creator. I think it's something about like, so they making a system where creators, people who make world and experience, can get paid or get supported by their fans or their the player base or the community, and that's something they seem to explore. They are exploring. And I hope that will increase the amount of content and the creativity that incentivize the people who come into the platform and create more things for everyone to enjoy.
The most interesting thing in this state is the freedom. What do you think is the most interesting artist beyond you? And there's someone that you are inspired from, or you are just an island?
Oh no! When it comes to like creativity, and there's a sense of like a community of all the artists, right? Not just the people that we make the content for them to enjoy, but there's also our fellow artists who also make world and experience. And there's like a sense of like collaboration, even indirectly. Everyone's just inspiring each other. My personal favorite would be Dr. Morrow. He's one of the master in VRChat who will create amazing world that I almost have no word to describe how beautiful they are.
He or she?
I don't know. It's a mysterious. Like that's.
Mystery?
It's a no. It's a mystery. It's a mystery that how we don't know his face or his age, and there's a certain mysteriness behind that, and that's one of the really cool thing about when it comes to VR. You know, you have these amazing artists who make this amazing experience, but you don't really know that much about them, and the only way for you to learn more about them is through their work and the way that they speak through their creativity. That's amazing.
It's the first time you are here in the immersive island. What's your idea, and what do you think about people it's around you during these days that you're here?
It's quite eye-opening in the literal way. It's my first time here, and sometimes you take for granted, right? Like you make this experience at home, you push it outside, and people come and play that, and you interact with them in the virtual world. But then you forget that these people are real people in real life. How important, how people are so interested in this field of this new thing, the VR space, like everything around it, the immersive space. Like there is actual genuine art and interest behind that, and the people around here, all the artists around here, the people that are attending here, they are all the proof of that.
I'm going to make you a very weird question. I don't know if you're addicted to movies too, but you know, this is the main appointment even for moviegoers. And so
Right.
Do you think that as in VR immersiveness, we will have our own star system before or after? And which kind of stars do you imagine? It's gamish people or weird people and that's it?
I think I would like to think it's a mix of all. It's like a boiling pot. It's just like you get gamers, you get people who love movie, you have artists who just care about artists. You should have seen some of the community in VR. Like some people is very specific about something and they just gather together in VR and discuss that. Like I know there's a community about watches, so they love watch in real life, but sometimes they also make the watch in 3D and they bring it in VR and they show off to each other, and that's just amazing. So VR is for everything.
Do you think that we would need a category in Oscar show or Golden Globe show? Do you think that time is ready to create a space for a mass, or we need to create the mass before the award?
I feel like it's still a bit early. Like the mainstream audience still struggling a little bit to understand VR, and I feel like it haven't reached the wide audience. It's getting there, and the fact that Binale and the Venice Immersive here even making a space and putting money and interest in here like this is a step for that direction. It will get there, not just yet, but it will get there eventually.
Thank you very much.